Guys, another episode of What's Up, guys? These. Yeah. Bring it. Seven. Yes, you can start. Alright guys, so today we're here at Art Talk with Mr. Krystiano, one of Disney's top fine artists. You see it on the shirt. Check it out, Disney fine artist.
That's what they say.
Really amazing story. I think it's cool to just know how he got to that level, to become one of Disney's top artists. So honored. He actually did reach out to me and say, hey, I got an idea. You're the perfect guy. I think I want to have you host this. So we definitely been working together for a while. I love his story. So a little bit about Krystiano. Krystiano, tell him who you are, how you got into the business, how you become Disney's top fine artist.
Well, I mean, that's a long story, but I was born in Brazil in '75, long time ago. Listen, basically like a dinosaur. So I always did art all my life. So one of my biggest supporter was my mom. So she always kind of knew that I had a talent in an early age. So she would literally spend her money just to make clothes for a company. She would spend her money to send me to art school, buying materials and things like that. I thought that was pretty cool. I understand that if I were to do that professionally, you know, I just could make money out of it, and I just like became just just fascinated with the art world and never stop and always try to. It's almost like cooking. You're almost trying to come up with the different things that people are not doing it to kind of impress people. But I did a lot of t-shirts, silk screen, murals, I mean, you name it, everything you can name in the art world. And I never stopped. And I had an opportunity to move to the United States when I was living in Italy for a while. Got to learn all kinds of different things there. You kind of like decided that I wanted to move to the United States, and you know, everything takes time when you're here. You need to learn the language. You need to kind of like, you know, understand the system, understand how things work. It took like about 2 or 3 years before I started working in theme parks. But you know, when you start working in theme parks for like a different companies, and which is very common here, like a third-party companies that work for Walt Disney. But as I was working there, you know, some crew from some Disney crews, some Imagineering people, kind of, they wanted me to pull apart because I was solving a lot of problems in the theme parks, and somehow it's, you know, I became a scenic artist. I didn't even know what a scenic artist was. You know what I mean?
I'm from Brazil. I don't know.
I'm just like, I have no idea. I just want to work. You know, I'm just excited, you know, to work here and be part of this thing. I was still like digesting the idea of to be in the rides, and it's a funny story though that is very cool, and I wanted to share with you guys. Back in Brazil, I used to collect a Disney Mickey Mouse magazine, which in the back of the magazine there was an ad, the only ad from the only company that could bring you to Walt Disney. Just think about it, you know, my mama's income, it was like maybe $300 a month. You know, I was even embarrassed to ask my mom if she could, you know, send me to Disney. It's unrealistic. But on the back of the magazine, it had an ad, which is, I remember, was the Epcot ball and the monorail and the castle behind, and then it used to say like, go to Disney with Stella Barros. And somehow, you know, every time I finished to read my comics, you know, my Disney comics, it was like, I looked at that thing, I was like, man, this is gotta be cool. You know, back in the days, there's no YouTube, there's nothing. I had no idea what Disney really looks like. You know, you only see things on TV and they show fast and there's 15 minutes, you know, Disney World, you know what I mean? I said, wow, this is like, they actually have a theme park, you know? I'm just like, damn. But to make a long story short, it was 2:30 in the morning, right? And I was restoring Cinderella Carousel, 2:30 in the morning. Mm-hmm. When I looked behind me, there was Disney Cinderella Castle. And then I couldn't help but just to tear up. I was like, wow, I am actually restoring Cinderella Carousel, and the castle is right behind me. You know, and somehow I went back, you know, my life went back and I was like this. How is that even possible? That I not only got to see Walt Disney World, but actually to be in part of majestic projects like Restore Incredible Rides. That was just like, that alone, it was like, you know, that was it, you know.
So to kind of go back on the story, I know there's so much in between. I remember you actually being a local Orlando artist. What was that life? Was that before Disney or after Disney? How did that look?
That was during because I always wanted to be part of the art world. I wanted to connect, you know, so I was I didn't know what the art nights and the art field was, so I was going out there and just exposing my art to the other people to kind of have an opinion of it. And apparently somehow I just, you know, most of my stuff is done in the studio. I don't really know what is out there. Then when I put out there, it was an incredible success pieces, you know, and I get more galleries inviting me. I found to be kind of like hard because the life of a street artist or when they do shows is very hard because you gotta go and you gotta sit up, and then you cannot price too much because, you know, you have all sorts of people.
Income.
Yeah, so it's income, and I noticed that my art, it was too expensive for what it was. Then I realized that, you know, maybe you know, I should stop a little bit doing those shows and concentrate more in galleries. So I look for more people that represent my work, because I know the galleries, they do an incredible job. They did 7 days a week, you know, massive promoting your name and just putting you on the map. And I figure like I didn't have a lot of time to be on the streets doing art because I had a full-time job. So that way, in the galleries, I still work in my studio and send down to them. But it was fun when I did that. I got to meet incredible people on the streets, incredible artists, and it was good for the soul. It was important for my art career, really.
And one thing I want to mention, that we are in his art studio, so all the art that you see is, and what's cool about his art is not that it's just the Mickeys and the cartoon characters, but each frame is also each designed by him. So that's really the best part about it, is that not only does he create the art piece, but also the frame to it. So if you guys haven't seen, make sure that you guys definitely check out more of his work on Instagram, at galleries. Can you mention, because you talk about galleries, can you mention how many galleries that you're actually listed in?
The Disney program is very broad. So today we are, I believe there's one artist from Canada now that just got signed up. We might be 37 artists as per today, but there is only 36 Disney fine artists in the world in the Disney legacy today. So we are represented all over the world. We have, you know, people that represent us in London, France, California, all over, Hawaii, you know, Las Vegas, Orlando, you know. And the funny thing is that we started the Festival of the Art like about 4 years ago, and it's the most popular and the most profitable Disney show event that they have now. You know, it used to be the Food and Wine, but we really represent all over the world. You know, we're in 27 galleries around the world. You know, we're looking for some representation in Brazil now. We're talking about Dubai. There is always something new going on. Because of the coronavirus, we kind of cut down our travels, but we easily do, you know, 6 to 7 major shows throughout the year. That includes, like, you know, Comic-Con, you know, Stage 9 event in California. You talk about right there in the Disney Studios in the 51 acres, you know, of Burbank Studios. So we're really like well represented. This thing just go like ballistic. So.
when you talked about, because it looks like it's just kind of been a long time for you. You talk about when you were a little kid, always loving art, and you're not just an artist, man. I think your life story is so inspirational. So what does it look like? What can you tell someone that's listening, that's an artist, or even not an artist, but has an idea and don't know if they should run with it? What is your thought to that?
I think art, it was given to us as a gift from God, right? Here's what happened. I mean, they say that God will never give you more than you can handle, right? Art, not just for you. When God bless you with some talent and skill, it's not just for you. That's gonna help you throughout your life, throughout your career. But it's gonna impact other people, and through something that you can teach other people, you can get them out of depression. You can get them out of financial difficulties and things that they're going through. Art kind of like, it gets you involved. I haven't seen one person that I did art, they were not happy about it, that they didn't get inspired. It's funny though, when I became a Disney artist, then I started being recognized in the parks, in the place. I wasn't used to that. I wasn't used to kind of stop by and was, oh my God, you're Krystiano, oh my God, you're Disney. I wasn't used to that. I was just like, why is this person calling my name? But I probably lost 5 good artists to suicidal. Because the people didn't reach out to them. People didn't kind of, hey, what's going on? Just like things that we're doing right now, we're just communicating, we're reaching out, we know what's going on in our daily lives, we're just communicating, at least 2 or 3 times a week. But I think if it wasn't for art, it would be, I would not go on a dramatic side or kill myself or something like this. But I know there are times, man, it's hard. As an artist, you struggle. But the best advice that I give to these younger ones, or even people now that are going through depression, people now that in such a hard times as this year has been for everybody, just go do something that has to do with art. You're gonna see that when you focus on something else rather than yourself, it's gonna be much better for you. And never give up, really, because I don't even think if you were born an artist with some talent, skill, I think giving up, it's not an option. Mm-hmm. It's not an option. No, I mean, why do you even think about, am I going to give up? Why? Art is inside of you. Yeah. Why are you going to, can you take that, it's almost like, it's funny though that I listen to a lot of yoga documentary, right? And this guy asked this guru, oh, I want to ease my mind. I want to stop my mind. I said, you're crazy. Your mind is designed to do what it's supposed to do. You don't have a control over that, right? It's okay to be depressed. It's okay to be hyped up. That's life. That's how your chemical imbalance is. You don't have to, oh, I'm going to walk on water. That doesn't exist. I think for you guys, you should erase this, oh, should I give up? That shouldn't exist in your vocabulary. It's not an option. So,
I agree. And I'm not, I think we're all artists in some shape or form. But I think what you do is really inspiring, and I also agree that you should never give up. Whatever that dream is, that you continue to chase it, chase that dream. One thing I did want to mention, because you are Disney's being so huge, I can only imagine what that looks like for you. But can you tell people, before Disney and you were selling street art, what was the least painting amount that you sold price-wise?
Well, I really started with my guitars. I used to play a lot of guitars. I love guitars. I love everything about it. I'm not a good guitar player, but I just enjoy the instrument. I enjoy how iconic it is. So I started buying guitars and making them into a piece of art. That's how I started. So when I started putting them out there, people start, oh my God, I love this. And somehow they were going for $1,200. And to me, that was a lot. That was like, man, I'm buying this guitar maybe in a pawn shop for $70. Then I deck it out like the Crossroad Blues, and I put things in it. Wow. It's, and somehow this thing was working. But there were shows, man, that I would go. I literally, this is kind of funny. I literally went to New York with the gentleman, an incredible supporter called Mr. Salim. So he believed in my work, you know, and we went all the way to New York for the New York Expo art show. And that's for top dogs, you know what I mean? I didn't even know what I was doing there. Man, we spent thousands and we sold one painting. And we sold one painting for a doctor there. He was an eye doctor. I did a John Lennon, you know, and he just loved and bought for $1,000. But we had spent thousands. And I'm like, oh man, you know, the funny thing is, like, I had a big van at the time, and I'm like this, I wonder if I'm gonna be able to make it to Orlando. You know what I mean? Because I had to spend all my money parking $65. I'm just like, I'm there for 10 days, you know, I'm just like.
All right, that's that never give up moment.
No, never give, it was just fun.
That was a never give up moment.
But my list painting, I think that I sold, it was probably around a couple $100.
And now being Disney, what does?
Well, I mean, I think my one of my originals, the most expensive, it was 24,000.
That's the never give up moment.
Yeah,
when I sold paintings for a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Now it's a couple of thousand.
You know, we have like we're doing like 18 originals right now, and the limited edition, which is the frames, like we broke records since I released it. I mean, we're doing 500 frames non-stop. Literally, my studio went from being dedicated to other different things to be full-time 365 days a year producing Disney. And the funny thing is that's kind of funny because they had to take it down the display in the Disney Birdwalk to stop the sales. You know what I mean? Because we had to deliver a bunch of stuff. Well, in a studio, it kind of like you get used to it. It's like when you're an athlete, when a basketball player, you just get used to it. You know, we sometimes we forgot that we're working for one of the biggest company on the planet. I can literally say that because, you know, I tell people like this, oh, I should pursue art, I should pursue this. Hey guy, just look at Walt Disney. I mean, just think about it. What is there any other company in the world that is an artistic company, an entertainment company, bigger on this planet?
You're right. Listen, I'm not gonna argue with you.
Somebody that lost everything. He literally lost everything. He literally went to New York, lost the rights for Oswald, came back, and his whole crew disappeared. It's only his girlfriend and another animator that stayed. So he back to nothing. You know?
Listen, if you guys are gonna take anything out of this interview, it's a never give up moment. I mean, he's talking about when he was a young kid, looking at Disney, you know, not knowing if he would ever actually step foot as a guest. And here he is being able to leave there. You left Disney at one point, right?
Yeah, I left Disney, you know, at a certain point. I do a lot of consultation for Disney.
And don't realize that sometimes it's your calling, because here he is back for Disney, but working at a different level, where he's not, you know, it's more of a contract base. You know, I'm not sitting here and just doing creative stuff for rides. I'm actually doing some of the art, being able to do what he loves, because all this stuff is what he loves. It's his creative mind. That's another thing I want to get into. Like, where these ideas? Are these ideas you already always had? Because these frameworks, man.
Well,
like this right here is amazing. Where do you get these ideas?
Well, working for Walt Disney, you know, in Imagineering departments, as a scenic artist, you get exposed to incredible people. They never get the opportunity to get known. But you're talking about actually the guy who sculpted the whole Tree of Life in Animal Kingdom. It lives in Kissimmee.
Oh, wow.
He's from Philippines. It's like a little short guy that when I went to see his stuff, I thought I was walking to Michelangelo da Vinci studio. And I'm like, how do you even do this? He said, oh, it's all in my mind. So working in the theme parks and restoring rides and rebuilding rides, refurbishing rides, that stays in your mind. The difference about my collection was that I was never a very good painter. Comparing to the Disney fine artists. You're talking about the other Disney fine artists, they are the tip of the sword. These guys are no joke. If you get a guy like a Rodel Gonçalves, you get just like Jared, Tim Rogersons, you know, man, you take Edson Campos, another Brazilian guy. Jesus, is this guy's like a Michelangelo on earth, and I'm carrying a Rodel. I mean, just to name a few. I mean, these guys are like incredible, you know. Me, I wanted to create something. For example, I'll give a better example to better explain what my art is. Mm-hmm. You can only watch a movie so long, right? You can watch like a movie from Toy Stories, you can watch Coco, you can watch Beauty and the Beast, and you sort of get tired of it, but you love it, right? And you're always gonna see it with your daughter, with your grandchildren, whatever. But they only last, you know, until you get a little tired. That's just like my opinion. But theme park, somehow it's a world that you live in it, right? You want to live there. So my idea is to bring my theme park experience into my art world that now you can't relate. Oh, I saw this in the park, or, you know, it's kind of give you a connection there, because my background is in theme park, right? My background was never in fine art. It was always building, construction, you know, the ice on the cake to making the painting, to make everything look like believable. Mm-hmm. So I get this idea is just like just looking at the movies and getting inspired for what people done it, and say, what can I do different, right? Mm-hmm. And the thing is, I shoot myself in the foot, because I create the most intricate frames that they're so hard to put together. Right now, if you get a frame from me, you're not getting the least a year. And that's a limited edition frame. If you order right now, if before Epcot, you might get in 6 months. But if you order during the Epcot, you will not get until the end of the year. And original, if you order an original, it's going to take up to 15 months to 2 years to get it. That's how booked up we are. In my collection alone, not even talking the other artists, I'm talking about what we do here. But we just we just sell a lot. Somehow the Disney collectors, they want it, you know, they want it.
Is this what you leaving Disney for just a little bit, really? Did you imagine this? Is this was even a thought in your mind to get to this level?
Never, because my first festival in Epcot, I wasn't Disney at all. I went with my Ocean collection, which was doing very good, but I went with the company that represents me, they're called Wyland, which is a big name in the fine art world. You know, that was just like a dream just to be part of that gallery. The Disney Boardwalk has a Wyland gallery there. They also have one in St. Pete as well. So that is like being part of such a gallery is already scary, intimidating, you know, but I say, you know, what the heck, you know, I'm here, just gotta suck it up and do it. Disney was like, I remember for this first show, the CEO of Disney Fine Arts, a big tall guy, I love the guy. It's like, the Disney Fine Arts is really my family, you know. It's a lot of people there talk about this in different departments. This particular department is like, they family, you know, because they artists too. It's not just like, do this, do that. They just make sure you're doing all right. But I remember, you know, Michael Young coming in. So he comes in and he's just a big tall guy, you know. It's like, and I'm all intimidated. I'm just like, oh man. They say like, hey, you know, the CEO of this fine arts, it's gonna come in and it's gonna check your booth. I'm just, I don't even know who the guy is. And I'm like, who's this guy, man? Oh, you will know. He's got a shirt like this. He's a big Jewish guy, tall.
They scared you pretty much.
And I'm just like, yeah, you know. And I'm like, oh. So he comes in, very nonchalant, relaxed, look at me and say, hi, just shook my hand and say. So my Michael would say, oh, nice to meet you, Mr. Michael. And he's like, yeah. So, and he looked one piece that I have, an industrial piece that I had. It had a lot of gears, right? And he goes like, I'd love to see some of that. It was just one comment. Because I was thinking to use my oceanic line to do the Disney. That's what people expect. Oh, he's going to do Little Mermaid, Ocean, Meadow. They ready for that. And it's like, nah, I'm really gonna do what I. So he looked at gear. He went like this. I would love to see more of that. That's kind of fun. And I was like, all right. So I built the first frame, which was sort of like that Pluto right there.
Okay.
So
yeah, I see the Pluto.
It was the Pluto and Donald Duck, but it was my first Mickey. And somehow that frame, it was sitting on the studio for about a year. I built it and was in a corner. Then everybody, man, when are you gonna start your Disney thing? They tried to sign me up, and I had to come up with an idea, the collection, because the show was in November. This was 3 months prior. I said, we need to sign you up, and what do you have? And I said, oh, I'm working on something. Finally, I decided to take the whole week off, and it's like, you know what, I'm just been putting up this thing, that could be the new thing, and I had no idea. So, and I built it, I painted it, and somehow I hide the piece. I didn't want anybody to see it. So I didn't have this pollution. Oh, do this, do that, oh, why are you doing this? I didn't want any distraction. If I'm gonna do something, it's gonna be unique, genuine, it's gonna be like, no one's gonna see it. I'm just gonna wrap and take it. So I build everything and just put it in and walk it in there. And the owner of Wyland Garage just look, oh, this is pretty cool. So they send the piece to California. So, and it got there, they love it, they signed me up, blah. By the time the piece is there, they approved, somebody bought the piece. You know, it was like $8,500 at the time. I was like, what? And I was just, oh my God, you know? So then here I am, now I'm signing with Disney, and I have one piece. And you're talking about scary, all these artists at this big VIP show, they fly people in. We have 300 people coming in, 300 important collectors, and I'm like one piece. So I'm working with the pieces. The day of the show, I complete the other 4 pieces, and you're only allowed to come with 6 pieces. But it's like, what the heck? You're new. We're just gonna introduce your art. So I come in. I got the pieces now. I'm covering paint. I walk with the pieces in the gallery, and this girl look at me. How can I help you? And I say, hey, I'm here to deliver this. She look, which artist? And I say, Krystiano. Oh, are those Cristianos? And I'm like, yeah, those are Cristianos.
You don't look like the artist.
Look, I'm scared to death. So then, the funny thing is that I'm all nervous and getting ready, you know, and I'm like, what now? So the guy called me back, and I said, like, the director of the gallery said, like, hey man, just take a break, you know, just don't be so hard on yourself. So you can come at 6 or 7, that's okay. And I'm like, oh my God, did I do anything wrong? I mean, what the heck? Are they gonna put my piece in the corner? Every single thing was sold at 2 o'clock. So the show was even open. Every piece was sold, and 4 sketches that I had sold. The whole show was sold out. I said, well, how is that even possible?
Listen,
you know?
I want to point something out. The second one, if y'all don't listen, what y'all learning from here. So the first one was never give up. The second one is take risks. This dude went in there with something that wasn't even Disney. Just felt that I wanted to do the gallery world. This is my piece, and because you took risks, you're now part of 1 out of 36 Disney fine artists. That's huge, man.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah. I've been very blessed. I'm still like digesting the idea that that's really happening. But I tell the people, just focus on your technique and uniqueness. You know, I see a lot of artists. I coach a lot of artists. You know, like, you know, my Instagram is always like floating with people asking, you know, how do you do this? What do you think? They send me, and I'm very sincere. If you get 36 Disney artists today, you can put them side by side, and you will know each one by their art. They don't even have to be there. That's what people should focus on. Even though you can paint as somebody else, but you're not somebody else, right? You just gotta come up with your own thing. It doesn't matter if it's a sculpture, it doesn't matter if it's simple. Look at the art of Romero Brito. You know, his stuff is just simple and happy. And he took over Miami, he took over the world with the simple concept that he believed in, and it's beautiful, and everybody loves it. You know, he's probably the king of pop art, you know, so every time you see it, you know who he is. That's what you should do. Focus on something unique and be unique in the art world, not to try to copy somebody, because that's kind of like you are not the one in there. So
you mentioned about your the art that you started. You actually got a piece that you want to raffle off. Where did the piece go?
Yes. So this piece was actually done live last week. That's how it came out. I don't know if you guys remember that.
A Krystiano piece right here. So this right here he's going to raffle it off for the people that are watching.
Yes, everybody that's participating in the live.
Everyone that's participating. I know there's people here that are hounding me to ask questions that they want to answer. So we'll take some of these questions, see what we got to ask.
Sorry to be read sideways like that, but
I'm about to turn like
it's
this.
all good.
You're gonna have to get out the camera for a while.
Yeah.
So I go back to some of the questions. Somebody says, how did the ideas of creating frames come about?
Building theme parks. You know, we have to, the engineers give us the blueprints, and we have to build stuff. I wanted my frames to be art as well. So I want it to be just like fun, you know. But I think I've been doing like crazy frames with my guitars and many other things even before Disney. I think when I married them together, it was a boom explosion, you know. So the frame really makes me a better painter. That's better explaining.
Somebody also asked, is it handcrafted? Your
everything is done in a studio. Every bit of it is designed, carved, built in the studio. Even our resin is designing in the studio. So nothing. We only buy, you know, the supplies to do it here, but everything is mold making here. When I organize my studio a little better, we have 3,500 square foot facility. We're gonna make a show just the tour, you know, kind of like the process. I think is important for people, even for the collectors or art students and people that admire my work, to kind of see behind the scenes what goes into these pieces. Mm-hmm. So everything is hand painted by me. Obviously, we got employees that we all casted with mold making things, but every single one at the end, it's like put it together, hand painted by me, overseen by me, just, you know, before they go out, you know, to the collectors and to the galleries.
Amazing, amazing.
Let's see what we have.
So you got some over there. You got a question somebody asked. You mentioned yoga. Does the meditation help the creative process?
You know, I'm horrible at meditating because here's what happened. My brain is 24/7 active, right? It's so because I'm doing several different projects right now. I'm getting ready for my show in January, and for my show in December, for my show in November. So I'm creating my new collection. And talk about, I have a lot of pieces, so I'm still carrying these entire pieces and creating new collection for next year. So I don't do a lot of meditation. I don't know how to meditate, but I like the yoga movements. I like the philosophy. I like the idea of stay still and take not to be hard on yourself, because what happened out there, people just like, oh, see, they're so negative. Oh, this is happening. Oh, the coronavirus. Oh, this. Oh, that. Listen, it's always gonna be one thing or the other. Mm-hmm. I think I've learned how to be quiet and calm, right? Even under pressure. And believe it or not, I had to cut off shows that I thought it was unnecessary for me to go. I had to say, like, you know what? This is extremely hard for me. I'm working 7 days a week. I'm so tired. Why am I doing this to myself? Mm-hmm. And I said, like, you know what? I won't be able. I actually had canceled Comic-Con, which is like, which is crazy. People are like, are you nuts? I said, no, you gotta understand that I think yoga showed me how to block the negative thoughts, right? If somebody say, hey, something's going on, coronavirus, I'll block it. I don't focus on it, because otherwise you're gonna go crazy. Your mind has the capability of create this scenario that's gonna drive you nuts, and sometimes it's not even there. You know, there's a crazy story about that I read the other day. Was this employee, he got locked down in one freezer boxy truck, right? On Friday night, he wanted to clean it, somehow accidentally the door shut with him inside. And he's like, oh my God, there's nobody here, I'm gonna die. So he literally wrote on a piece of cardboard, you know, to people that he loved, and he actually died. And they came to find out that the freezer was not even on. And the dog said he froze to death. How is that even possible? So his mind created such a scenario that as a fatality, he died. You know, so I've learned how to block thoughts, and I don't hang with negative people. You know, but yoga has helped me a lot. But I suck at meditation.
No, I agree. I really want to second that. I think you know, I have really good friends that kind of, when I get into that mind space, because when you start to think negative, you start to see negative things happen. You surround yourself with negative, you start to all these negative starts to manifest. And to me, I've had to just kind of change the mindset, and you see the shift. So for anyone that is watching, I don't do yoga or meditate either, but I'm with you on that whole, the way that you start to think. That's the energy that you put out.
I think you gotta cut loose the people around you that want to suck the life out of you. Any life is gonna be like this. You're gonna leave somebody, you're gonna make somebody mad, you can't please anybody, somebody's gonna leave you, somebody's gonna be unfair with you, you're gonna be unfair with your own people. Either if you like it or not, it's just life. That's how it is, you know. Like I do art 7 days a week, and sometimes I don't want to do art, sometimes I don't want to, I'm tired, you know. And the funny thing is, I have a hammock that I bought, and I set up a hammock in my studio because sometimes I need to take a nap. Sometimes I'm just tired. I mean, I just like, screw it, I'm just gonna take a nap.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
for sure.
You know.
Somebody said, let's see what questions I got here.
I wonder if they seen this. Can they see like this, or like they're gonna be seeing like, I don't know. I mean,
you got any questions over there?
What?
Let me see if I got questions over here. How do you separate art and your talent from the business side? Do you have to juggle all of the above?
Man, you know,
that's a good question. How do you? Because you're not just an artist; you're now also a businessman.
Yeah, I run like a business. You're talking about, we sell like 500 pieces a year. You know what I mean? Between everything, you know, I not only do Disney, but I do my ocean art that I just got represented by 4 major galleries, which is Ocean Blue Company in Winelands, you know, franchise in Sarasota, and St. Pete. So, you know, the business part of suck, you know, because you really, sometimes you gotta stop to review invoices, review order, review things. And the next show, I'm just gonna show you the stack of orders about that big, and every single one has a special thing to it. That, you know, sometimes I'll give an example. I'm sending a diamond mine all the way to New York. So if I don't review the invoice, it's gonna have a remark. So that collector said, hey, that's to my dad, you know, he's a Disney, you know, his birthday. I want you to put, hey dad, happy birthday. You forget to do that. It's not only it's not fair for the collector because he's special requested, but we need to get that piece back, and that piece with insurance costs $850. So that means we send for $850, we're gonna get back for another $850.
Yeah.
So that means
money being spent.
The business part, it's crazy. You know, I don't even think I should say that, but I'm just gonna say it. You know, Thursday Art Talk, that's what this is about. You know, it's kind of like I wash a little bit of the laundry, you know, that what's going on here. So I signed one of my pieces, right? And I bought this cool white pen, and I thought it was cool. I was like, wow, you know, it was beautiful. You know, it has the rattling ball in there. You shake it, and I was like, wow. While the piece came back, this lady told me, can have him sign the right way because that's not how I bought the piece. I said, what are you talking about? That's my signature. I could say no to that because that's my signature, but no, I had her to replace and sign how she wanted because that's what she. But you know what? You have to respect that because she's buying
that's this piece. That's part of the business.
Yo, listen, man. I don't. Here's what happened. You know, I have my cars, and you know, if you got one scratch on that wheel, you go like. Every time you see that car, you look at that scratch. So I didn't want to hold to every time to see. I don't want to feel that important. My signature. No, who cares? I know if it bothered her. Well, guess what? I did it for you. I changed it for you. I didn't like it though, but I did it for you. So.
Let's see. You got any questions over there?
That was it, boys in the house.
Appreciate all the questions, guys. You got any questions?
My girlfriend in the house. She's in there.
Hey, girlfriend.
Hi, girlfriend.
If you guys have any questions, feel free. We're about to wrap this up. I think what we got. I know we tried to.
How much you have? Like
we're at 6:45. We got probably like another 15 minutes.
Yeah.
You guys have any other questions for Mr. Krystiano? We're here with one of Disney's top artists. Don't forget that we are raffling, and just explain a little bit about how this raffle is going to go for the people that are watching.
That's the people that we're going to raffle it for next week, and not forgetting that next week we have Doug in the house. So it's another Disney artist. He's under different license. He's a theme park artist. If you're in the art of Disney and Disney Spring and galleries throughout Walt Disney World, his art is very well known in there. He's the guy with the crazy Hawaiian t-shirt, or shirt per se. Great, dear to my heart, great artist. So he's going to be here with us next week, being interviewed by Efrain. We're going to be all here. I don't even know if you're busy or not.
I'm not.
So if you're not,
I'm gonna make time.
If something happens, if Efrain is not here, I'll be here because I have to be. He's my studio. I'm not going anywhere. But you don't want to miss it. I don't know if he's going to show his new collection for the show, but I'm pretty sure he's going to bring some old stuff that he has. Unbelievable. He's going to be in the house. The idea for the show is to bring like a new artist here that usually don't get exposed, but that's the art talk. We're still developing this thing, just teaming up with all these great talents to see what we can bring you. If we are able to increase your knowledge or show you something new, just like last week we had some epoxy, very simple epoxy training here, but we're gonna have a lot more cool stuff coming up. So
no problem. Somebody wants to know, did you ever feel defeated on the journey?
Every time.
That's a good question, huh?
Every time.
What do you do when you feel defeated?
Listen, man, there's deals that don't come through. I tell you what. So sometimes you put all your money into it. You put the dream into it, and we can easily get out of budget, right? Mm-hmm. And you're putting our things together. And sometimes you have nothing in the bank and you're expecting a check from someone that they forgot to put in the mail. And you swear to God that thing is going to show up that week. And it doesn't. Then you got to call someone, and somebody calls someone, and you run your fumes. And my philosophy here is just like I try to take care of my guys every time, no matter what. Because they are the soul of this company in a way. They make it happen. My apprentice, the guys that just make it happen, they, in this journey, some laugh, some stay here, but you will feel defeated, but you need to take as a challenge that you're never going to go through that again, and you're going to better yourself. And don't take a lot of people's opinion, okay? Get construction opinion. And I'm putting a class together how to better present your art and the technique and colors so you can present to a gallery or you can sell online. Here's what I'm going to tell you too. Do not focus so much in galleries. The online, it's huge. The online is for everybody. It's for the little one, it's for the big one. The funny thing is that the big ones now is looking, is looking to the little ones. It was never like that. We always depend on radio, TVs, and things like that. Remember this, no one gave you the space. No one believing in you. But now, you got TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. We put your face, do a couple little things, boom, you're like that. Rely on your fans. Rely on the people that follow you. Be truthful to them. Be honest to them. Humble yourself. Take care of your fans, your viewers, and they're going to support you because they believe in you.
Krystiano, that's knowledge, man.
Yeah,
I think dropping knowledge of it.
Dropping knowledge, man. We drop some knowledge in the house.
Somebody said, they asked about the tour. He said once he gets everything set up the way that he needs to, he'll definitely we'll do a tour. We'll do it live and show you guys a tour on how everything is being made. I have another question saying, your apprentice, tell us about the process. What does the process of an apprentice look like?
Well, it's a good example now. I have one of my right hand man. You know, it's the funny thing is, we cut down of a lot of employees that we have, right? Because I was losing a little bit of quality. Things were getting just too crazy, and I said, like, you know what? We need to slow down this because we're in a fine art business. We're not in a production business. Okay, we're not in a China business. We like everybody that buys these pieces, they gotta get quality, and this is Disney, you know, that's the company behind us. For example, Lucas started here about a year ago, but he really surprised me because here's what happened. I was giving credit to a lot of people. A lot of people that they're supposed to do this, they're supposed to do that, and I always had this kid beside me. Somehow I always get this kid beside me, and this kid will call me on Sunday, he'll call me on Saturday, he'll make sure I was doing alright, what are you doing? Then we start going surfing together, then we talk about cars, you know, he's got his car, we're doing different things. And I have to say, by my own mistake, I should have paid attention more in this kid, because right now, he runs, he casts, he makes molds, he paints the thing, he puts together, and you know, he's going to be 21 years old, and he's my biggest motivator because he's a hustler. He's a hustler. He's just like, hey man, how are you going to do this frame? Man, I finished this thing like, 3 weeks ago. What the hell? And this and that. We need to make, so it's almost like he has he's proud of what he's doing it. You know? He's a say here that he pissed me off. It's like, look at me, man, I'm putting these things together. I'm not even a Disney artist. You know what I mean?
Oh man.
But the apprenticeship is, I really train the person to do what they're supposed to do. That ways they become better artists. If I get somebody they already have brushed, they already painted, they already got the habits, and that's like a horror because we don't have time for that. But when I train the person, they're gonna learn the right way how I wanted to do. And if you see Lucas today, if I leave the shop, the frames like are flawless because he fixes them, he touches them. Somehow he understands, you know, and he's been with us for about probably a year and a half now. I have fired him probably like 3 or 4 times, but it's like he never leaves. One time I fire him, I come back here and he's sleeping in his car, you know, and I'm like, what are you doing? He said, I came to work. And I said, Lucas, I fired you last Friday. He said, no, you didn't fire me. You sent me home for a week. Now I'm back. And he literally just go in the shop and start working. And I'm like, man, who am I to you? Do I mean anything in this business? And I was like, okay.
But it shows how hungry and how determined, and I think that's where you kind of really build a relationship. You know that he cares. And like anyone, some days are better than some. So in his case, maybe he wasn't having a good day. You sent him home. He came back a week later, and he was refreshed. And
I think you just gotta listen. You know, you're not the most important. You're not the most important, even though if you're an artist, if you're a renowned artist, you're not the most important thing, right? Your team is
somebody
the
said
one.
they like Lucas.
Who said they like
They
Lucas?
said I like Lucas.
Who is that
They
one?
must, Dally, a good friend of mine.
Oh my God! Yeah,
My best friend.
this kid is crazy. So we do it. In the tour, you're gonna get to meet.
Somebody
Lucas.
said that's exactly how an apprentice should be.
Yeah, and the thing is, just listen, right? Just listen, because the next idea, or you might be clouded because you're dealing with so many things, and that person can actually bring something to the table. Like Lucas has done a lot of that. Mm-hmm. You know, he has come in and say, "Hey, man." A perfect example: our fire truck, which is the police car, has the tires there. The mold only lasts for 50 casting. So we had to redo it, right? And I've been just like, man, doing all the things, but he needs to get his frames done. In order to get these things done, he needs that mold. He just pulled the freaking mold out of the shelf, he put it all together, and he's pouring the mold himself, said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm doing what you're not doing it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, you have to step back, even if they make a mistake, you have to step back.
No, I think for sure, mistakes lead to a lesson, and normally when you make that, and I always say it, just really in the business world, a lot of people think that when you take a loss in business or in life, that it usually holds people back. But people don't realize it's actually a lesson to not make that same mistake again. So for Lucas, he was willing to take that risk. Hey, if I make a mistake, Cristiano's going to tell me how to do it right, the next time I'm going to get it better. So it looks like I like Lucas too. You know, he's one of those.
You gotta understand that sometimes that person is also going through some problems, you know, financial problems and
mental
problems in the house.
Oh.
And you don't know the state of mind. And I was like in a hard headache, just like, man, we gotta do this, what the heck, and I'm like, listen, man, the most important people in this company, the people that helping me putting this together, so they like family. I have to slow down, you know what I mean? And even trading, even you know, sometimes, oh, that's not how this is supposed to be. I mean, I've learned how to like
talk to people.
Sometimes you just like, he get mad. He go like, hey, what are you doing? It's nothing, man. I'm just, you know, because I'm checking the work, and he's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm just checking the work. I said, why? And I was like, no, man, I'm sorry. You know, I just walk away. You know what I mean? But you have to respect the talent, because if I train him, you know, you gotta give him some credit, so that way he feels like he's part of something cool, you know. And he always say like, man, we do cool stuff here. They happy what they doing, but also this is a business, you know. Sometimes I gotta make some decisions, you know. But you know, I mean, living and learning.
Hi, Sylvia. All right, guys, we're about to start wrapping up. Anybody has any more questions? We got a couple minutes here. Cristiano, you got any questions over there?
Gotta wait some people here. We're about to wrap this thing up.
We got four more minutes. So one thing that we like to do is that know your worth moment.
Moment.
What is the know your worth moment that you had in your life?
Man, it's okay. I'll make this quick. But I received a letter. It was funny though. It was my first letter on my first year in Epcot. I remember this little girl. She was about, I'd say 10, no more than 11. And she looked like a little tomboy. She had a hat. And, you know, she came in and she kept looking at me, right? She won't leave. And at first I thought that she was a boy. But no, she was a girl. And then I saw the earrings and I was like, very cute girl. So her mama told me that it was the first time after many years that she's going out, because she was getting a lot of bullying in school. She was doing homeschool, right? But she didn't think that was healthier for her, because she's in the house all the time. Then I look at her and I start talking to her. I was painting a Goofy flying machine. No, the Gear Up was my second year. It was my second year. So I was releasing Goofy Gear Up, which is he's going up in a balloon, you know, ice cream buckets, very cool piece. And I look at her. Usually I talk to the kids, you know. So in the audience, I had this 3 years old man. She grabbed my leg and she's got a blanket in her hand. She's sucking, and she won't leave. And she grabbed my leg, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, she's like, you know, looking at the painting, and somebody pulling. She got mad. I was like, oh, okay. So I gotta get used to that. But this girl, she come in and look, she won't leave. 30 minutes into the drawing, she's just quiet. And I say, hi, and she's like, you know. And I said, like, you want to help me paint? And she said, oh, no. So do you paint? And she said, I tell you what, here's what happened. You're the only one that can help me. And she's like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. And I can't leave my station. Could you help me paint? Just the pants. I'm gonna give you the brush. Stay within the line. Just paint that blue for me. I'll be right back. And I was like, she's like, oh no! But she actually stopped painting. You know, the funny thing is, I do a lot of motivation speech on that alone. So she painted, then people start gathering. When I look back, there was like 100 people, at least, looking at this girl. So the guy came in, hey, what are you doing? I said, wait. She's painting. I'll allow her to do it, because that's an original. I'll allow her to do it. So I actually went to the bathroom, come back, I saw all these people. So I saw from far, and I just saw it, right? This whole thing. And she was all happy. So next day she come back and stayed close to me again. She didn't paint, but she came right back. her mama said, "Oh my gosh, you don't understand. She doesn't go out, and she came in. She's talking about you. She's talking about art, and she's like, you know." And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing." But doesn't stop that, you know. Okay. Oh,
Just
we lost. Hold on.
yeah, probably gonna time out here soon.
Let me see. Live. Okay. Maybe the connection went bad. So we kept it. So what happened is I got a letter in my house, right? And you gotta understand this. I shared this with everybody, you know, people that know me. So I went through a divorce. That was very bad. Bad in a way, like emotionally. Okay, not bad and people chasing you and going crazy, blah blah blah. You know, good way, but bad. But then I was going through a tough time in my life. But at the same time, in the pinnacle of my career, and how you can be smiling, painting, and in the back of your mind you're going through such a thing. But I got a letter in the mail, right? I got a letter, and I said, "How did somebody found my address?" It was her. She wrote me a letter saying, "Mr. Krystiano." She said, "Mr. Krystiano, I don't know if you remember me, but I was the girl in the hat that helped you paint the goofy paint. I just want to open up my heart and share with you that I was thinking to kill myself. Life, it wasn't worth it anymore. People bully me in school, the way I dress, the way I look. And I'm an artist, I love art. But now, as long as I live, I know that I helped you paint that masterpiece, and that will live forever." And she said, "I want to look back there in 20 years and point and tell the people that I helped you paint that. Thank you for the opportunity to give me." And now I start painting again. That of me and my friend, I was in tears. I was just like, and I thought I was having a problem, and I'm like, I just couldn't explain what it is. But when I was reading, it was so powerful because I could feel it. I could feel the pain. I could feel the emotion, the frustration, what a kid goes through when, you know, they can't defend themselves. They're kids, you know what I mean? But I think my worth moment was that particular thing. Then I say, you know what I'm supposed to be doing. That's what God wants me to do it. And as long as I live, that's what I'm gonna be doing. Speaking, empower young artists or anybody that come across, you know, my art.
Look, you ended right on time. Instagram just kicked me out.
Well, right on time.
All right. So next week we'll be doing another art talk with Mr. Krystiano, and who was the other artist?
We're gonna have Dougie in the house, another Disney artist. He's gonna bring some of the stuff. We are going to gather all the people here.
We'll be raffling this off.
And we're gonna raffle this off, and we're gonna let who won this piece next week, and we're gonna ship to your door free of charge. Not even shipping you're gonna pay for. So, and sign it by the artist.
You guys take care. Appreciate you guys watching. Until next time on the Art Talk Show.
Thanks so much. Thank you.